Hey everyone, welcome back. So what are we doing today? We are decluttering and we are spring cleaning our stockpile, and even more than that, we're just spring cleaning and we're not letting this household, the Wilson household, get stagnant this spring. All right, so did you see my mess? Did you see the mess I created? So yes, I am spring cleaning many areas of my home. So I went and I've started different segments of my home, but my office, it is a home office, it is a homeschool office, it is my YouTube office, it is a disaster. The reason it's a disaster, I had things in different areas of the home. I sort of had zones for these different things. We've combined them into one, and I want to simplify and organize my home office. So in doing that, I had to check my stockpile of things. Do I have enough markers? Do I have enough highlighters? I know that sounds silly, but when you want to work on a project, when you want to maybe work on your budget, you want to work on these things, stockpiling certain things are well worth it, because when you run out of certain things, I don't want to have to run to the store just for a pack of sticky notes. I don't want to have to run to the Dollar Tree to get some new highlighters. So I always like to have the current ones I'm using, and I use them quite often, have one extra set that I know I have in the background, or you lose one or somebody borrows it. So I've been cleaning out that stockpile, but that is a mess, as you could see. Now, let me take you over. I started my spring cleaning this year. It sounds crazy, in my bathroom. What? In a bathroom? Yeah, I have been working in there. We are scrubbing the floor like differently, you know, the spring clean kind. The toilet, the sink, wiping the walls, cleaning the ceiling, all the pictures, all the shelving and all that good stuff. And my husband's helping me with that. But I worked on our bathroom closet. So check that out. And I've got some stockpiles in there that you'll get to see. Check this out. So here it is. A good spring clean has been done in my bathroom closet. So in here, I have it labeled. I know it might sound silly to have a sticky note, but I don't know what's in there, and I think that's easier. A few extra things up here, my silver spray, and kind of that chest rub-on and rice bags that we can nuke, and as we say, nuke in the microwave to make them warm. Extra tissues, extra hand sanitizer, some other things there. The two top shelves are my husband's, his cleaning things that he likes to keep on hand. And then we come down here, and I have my stockpile here. It's dark, but it's in the closet, of extra shampoos, deodorants, and toothpaste. Here's quick first aid, Band-Aids, and things like that. In the back, I have wipes and also lotions in the very back. And then in here, we have tons of hand soap and boxes of tissues. I get that on an Amazon order every 3 months. And then down here, we have all the first aid bandages, Ace bandages, Epsom salts, blood pressure, bug spray, things like that we don't use on the regular. Okay, so you got to see my bathroom closet. At least it's neat and organized at this point. I ended up with a whole bag of garbage. What could you throw out from a bathroom? Well, we obviously emptied out the garbage can, but then I went through any meds that might have expired. We buy allergy meds and cold pills and, you know, things just to have. Somebody's not feeling well, I like to have the things in the house. And usually what I do is every season of cold season and allergy season, I look to see what I have, and then I get rid of anything that's old. Well, I haven't been doing that. I have to say it's probably been 2 years since I did that. Yeah, I'm thinking it's been that long. So I would just buy some newer stuff, and I hadn't cleaned out the old. So I went through that. We had some old vitamins in there. We had some first aid items that look kind of wonky, so I got rid of that. Cleaned that out, and then I had to look at my stockpile. What did I have in my stockpile? I had toothpaste, check. I'm good on that. Checked for paper towels, check. We were good on that. Toilet paper, a little low, so I've got to get some toilet paper. What else did we have? Hand soap. I have enough hand soap in there probably for 2 years. We have 2 bathrooms. I would say I have enough hand soap for 2 years. We're fine. And I would hear people saying, oh, you're hoarding hand soap. No, I happen to get a Bath & Body really good deal. So I went ahead and did that. A really good deal. I think it was like $2.50 or $2 a bottle. I got some of that. We were given some soap. We got some holiday soap, yada, yada. Plenty of soap. Check that off the list. So yes, in your bathroom, think about things like that. Spring cleaning really is good for checking what you have in your stockpile. So I went through my bathroom, made a list. Do I need first aid supplies, things like that? And then I went over to my regular stockpile and I decided to just dust, clean, sweep out, reorganize, regroup, and just make it look good. There's nothing, I think, nothing better than when you open your pantry stockpile and it just looks clean and neat and it looks like a grocery store. I don't know, I feel motivated to want to cook. I feel motivated to want to use that food. I feel motivated that what's in there, how can I prepare a meal for my family? Versus going into something that's a mess and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. There's too much stuff. It's too messy. It's too cluttered. I can't see what I have. Oh, forget it. I'll just go buy something. That is not what to do. So let me take you over to my stockpile. Okay, so here are the things that I want to use up. I always keep this rack on the inside door of my stockpile. So these are the things that I want to use up in the next little while. They're either coming to expiration dates or I've had them a while and they're getting lost in the shuffle. So I want to be able to use those up. And then I've just done a good dusting, organizing of my canned goods and more canned goods, shelf-stable milk, my son's ramen, and vegetables of cans, coffees, condiments, my canned goods, those things here, all here, these that I personally canned, and I have some more way back there. I'm going to be moving those. That will be part of my spring cleaning. I'll be taking those down to my basement. I'm putting up some shelving down there where it's going to be cooler. Not that this closet isn't cool, but it's also going to make room for, all the way back there I have cans of tomatoes. I'd like to move them here so I have more easy access to them. And I can't fit these 2 jars of tomato sauce back there, so I want to be able to organize it. And yeah, and then down here are soups and beans. I also want to put them on this shelf because that's hard to get to. And what I can put down there would be water that I would not need to access all the time. And there you go, a good clean out of the stockpile, spring cleaning the stockpile. Okay, so we have cleaned out in the bathroom. I've cleaned out my bathroom closet. I've cleaned out my stockpile. We are spring cleaning and we're getting things done. What are you spring cleaning? Where do you start? I'd love to know if any of you are spring cleaning. What do you start with first? Do you start with your kitchen? What do you do? And I always do a fall clean. I have a very hefty summer at work, so we definitely do a fall clean. And I don't always get to my spring cleaning, but this year, you know what? I just did that video, are you stagnant and are you stuck? And I'm kind of feeling stuck. I can just feel emotionally like, I'm trying to get out of that winter blue feeling and I'm trying to move forward because spring is around the corner. We're coming toward the end of February and another 4, 5, 6 weeks here in New Jersey. We're going to start to see things starting to bloom. We're going to be starting to get a little bit warmer weather. Not fantastic, but we're going to get it. And I want to be prepared to just enjoy life and to do things. And you know what? There's nothing better than cleaning out that junk drawer or cleaning out and spring cleaning that bathroom closet that has been haunting you forever. And you do little things like that and it's motivational. So I wanted to talk about some things that, you know, our stockpile is so important. And I want to be clear on your stockpile is your stockpile. What you eat is what you put in it. What you don't eat, you don't want to put in it. We just did the do's and don'ts of a stockpile. But I also want to make a point. Don't be a hoarder of things. Whether it's a stockpile of food, a stockpile of first aid items, a stockpile of shampoo, whatever the case might be. You know what you can use. If you can't use everything you have, please share it. Share it with a friend, share it with a neighbor, share it with a family member, maybe the local food bank, maybe the homeless, maybe your local church has a ministry of some sorts. Be diligent on sharing what you do have that you know you're not going to use. I am going through things. I have a ton of craft items. One day I'll explain all that. I practically own a craft store. I'm going through that and sharing it. I just went through my pocketbooks, and I have Vera Bradley and things that were given to me that I'm not going to use. I decided I'm not selling them. They were gifted to me. I've gifted them to other people, and they're thrilled. So what kind of other things should we have stockpiled? What are some things that you might go as you're spring cleaning? Now it's a really good time to sort of revamp, reorganize your stockpile, refresh. You've been through the winter. We're going into the spring and summer, at least in New Jersey. I know some areas don't have, seasonal times, but, a seasonal change of whatever sort you want to say, whether you want to say winter to spring, or it's just a seasonal change. Do some spring cleaning and think through, what do I need in my stockpile? Go through different areas. Make sure you have plenty of water. So if we've got hurricane season or tornado season by you, or whatever the case might be, and you could potentially have power outages, you want to make sure you have water. But bottom line is, just make sure you have extra water just in case. Maybe the plumbing just goes out and you're like, oh no, I have no water. I have to get the plumber over. Things like that can happen. Pets. Make sure you have plenty of treats. I have to say that quietly before my kip comes running out. But you don't want to run out of things like that. If you got sick for a week in your home and someone else is coming in to help you out, or whatever the case might be, make sure you have your treats. Make sure you have an extra bag of dog food. I don't know how many times we've used the last scoop of dog food and I went, oh my goodness, I had to run out to Dollar General or somewhere just to have that. So try and make sure whatever you need, supplements for the dog, their vitamins, even if your dog's on medication, make sure you have those things in your stockpile. Cleaning items, whatever you choose to use, whether you go natural or you use a little bit of both or whatever. Make sure you have the vinegar, make sure you have things, because when you want to spring clean, you want to say, oh, now I can't do my windows, I don't have any window cleaner, or whatever the case might be. Right now is a great time to stock up on those disinfectant sprays and disinfectant wipes. They are plenty available. Hand sanitizer, I have plenty. That seemed to be like the gift that we received from everybody. I have more than enough hand sanitizer. I checked, I have disinfectant sprays, which I'm glad. Somebody's sick, things are, bugs are going around, you want to spray, make sure you have that. Disinfectant wipes, you have a pet, you need to clean things. You have mice droppings, seasonal changes will bring that. Make sure you have disinfectant wipes. Things like that would be great. Check your first aid. Do you have Band-Aids? Do you have bandages? Do you have an ACE bandage? Do you have Epsom salts? Whatever you use, we use a lot of natural in our home. We use some other regular medication type things. Do you have, a Bactine or something like that, some ointments to put on if you get a cut? Do you have things for burns? Just check the expiration dates. Do you have your allergy pills? Do you have anything for the cold? Do you have like a Tylenol or Advil, things like that? It's always the time when, oh, I got a headache, and then you look and you don't have anything on hand. As you spring clean and you clean out whatever area that you store medications and first aid, check those things. Add that as a stockpile item, that we need to be checking these things. It's just not, do I have few cans of soup? Your stockpile is a generic term that can be for a variety of things. Make sure you have stockpiled recipes. Love Pinterest, love Google, love using my, Alexa's dots and all of that other good stuff. I use it all the time. I'll ask for recipes. I absolutely, positively love using them. But power goes out. Maybe it's not even the power, the Wi-Fi. We've had Wi-Fi problems for 2 days. Maybe your Wi-Fi goes out and you're trying to cook a meal. So make sure you have recipes, whether you have a cookbook or you have a few things written down that you can refer to those items on a pinch, you have those. Make sure you have a can opener. I say that because when you spring clean and you start going through your kitchen and decluttering, make sure you have something that's not an electric can opener. Have a hand can opener. Again, power goes out. Maybe you're just going on a camping trip. Maybe you're going on vacation. You want to be able to have that. Phone numbers. Stockpile your phone numbers. Whether you have a list on the refrigerator or in your planner, in your wallet. Have your emergency numbers handy outside of your cell phone. Cell phone is great. It's a good resource, but have another resource somewhere where it is written down that if there's an emergency, how many times your cell phone's out of power or you're just fumbling, you can't think straight. If you're in an emergency, have those numbers handy where you know you can grab those. Pills and medications. I've talked about this early on, and you can order your medication usually like a week before they're due. You could check with your pharmacist and see what you can do. It is best if you can order them as early as you can. This way you're always like a week ahead. So that would give you a week of a stockpile. I know prescription meds, they're not going to give you, X amount ahead of time. Maybe you order them 3 months ahead of time. Always make sure at least you have a week's worth. Again, you can't get out of the house, whatever the case might be. You don't want to be without your meds. Stockpile things that you're going to need for the season. If you're hitting rainy season, make sure you have your rain boots, ponchos, anything like that, umbrellas. It sounds silly, but how many times has it rainy season, it's pouring rain, and you look, where's our umbrellas? We have no idea. So as you spring clean and you declutter and you reorganize, make sure those items for seasonal needs are stockpiled. Paper products, paper plates, paper cups, paper straws, plasticware. Have those things. Power goes out, you go on a picnic, you're having last minute company, you don't feel like doing the dishes, you're not feeling good, grab a paper plate. You know what? Treat yourself. Just grab a paper plate, eat dinner on that, call it a day. Don't worry about washing dishes. Again, plumbing goes out, dishwasher breaks down, whatever the case might be. You want to have paper products, even paper towels, things like that on hand. Obviously, make sure you have paper towels and toilet paper. You want to have enough to carry you through for a week to 2 weeks. We all know what happened. I'm not saying hoard it, but I would definitely recommend you stockpile some of those items. Baking items, we forget sometimes. Baking. Flour, sugar, all your sugars. Make sure you stockpile that. I'm not going to go into how to, if you want to buy 25-pound bags, that's great, or abundance. How do you want to store that? This is not what this video is about. You can check that out at another video, another time. But make sure you have baking items. You want to make sure you're staying on track with your budget. You're doing homemade. Maybe you have a little extra time. Maybe you have some vacation days coming up. What a great time to learn how to bake bread. We talked about not being stagnant, right? Don't be stagnant in what you do. Learn how to bake bread. Well, I never did it before. Find one of these quick and easy recipes. I have a recipe I want to try for crusty bread. I've never made it. I'm not a big one on yeast. Yeast makes me nervous because I'm always afraid I'm going to mess it up. But I saw this recipe. It looked pretty easy. I'm going to try it. If it works out, I'll let you guys know. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see that recipe. I will try that. Make sure you have things for dietary needs. If you're vegan or vegetarian or diabetic or anything where you have special needs, make sure that you might be a family of one, but you might be part of a larger family and everybody else doesn't have those same needs as you. So make sure for you, your needs particularly are met, or if you're the sort of the, as some of us will say, the CEO of the home and you're running the home, make sure the needs of each individual family member is met. Maybe you have a fussy eater, maybe you have a younger child, or maybe an older child, or maybe, your spouse is picky. Make sure those needs are met as well. Make sure you have an alternative cooking stove. What do I mean by that? Well, make sure you have a grill outside or a camp stove or some type of a barbecue that you can use. Power goes out, whatever the case might be, that you have an alternative. This is a great time during your spring cleaning to make sure you have alternatives for cooking. What if you live in an apartment and you're telling me, well, I live in an apartment. There's no way I can, have this. I'm on the 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor. I can't have that. They do have smaller camp stoves that you can use, like a little sterno, and they have a little cap that goes on it that you can put a pot. Look into alternative methods. You want to have something on hand in case the power goes out, that you have an option for being able to cook for yourself and your family. Make sure you have a special pot that would go on there in case it gets a little burned up. Listen, just grab an old pot that you can designate that is what I'm going to use in case I had to. And make sure you have an idea for an alternative toilet. Yeah, who wants to talk about this? But it's something we all do all the time, on and off throughout the day. We're all visiting that little room that we call the bathroom. And if you can't flush your toilet, you're going to have to find another way. If you have buckets of water, great. But if you don't, what could you do? There's lots of alternatives for that. You can always get a 5-gallon bucket. You can always get an extra toilet seat. You can always get the kitty litter. You can always put that in there. You get your small plastic bags, whatever you need to do. You got an outhouse outside, good for you. But come up with an alternative, because you don't want to be in a last-minute situation going, now what do I do? So as you decide to spring clean, don't just spring clean your cans of food. Spring clean lots of areas of your life and think through some of these things we talked about. You know what? I should stockpile a few Band-Aids. I should grab some cleaners. You know what? I do need to check my home office. I haven't, checked that out. Maybe you ran out of pens, or you ran out of a Sharpie, or you need some sticky notes. What areas of your life are you now spring cleaning, and what things do you need to stockpile for those areas? Maybe you need to get some new towels and new sheets and all that good stuff. I'm not saying stockpile tons and tons of this, but you might want to look through some of the areas of your home. I would love to know, when do you start spring cleaning? Do you spring clean? Where do you start with your spring cleaning? Leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for coming over, and I'll catch you on the next video.